Thank you.
Hello, Andre. Could you give us the team news first of all ahead of the weekend?
Everything is fine. Most of the players got back and have no major injuries. Obviously, bearing in mind the amount of fixtures that were played in March, we gave them almost not 2 days off, but they've been in recovering sessions. And Clint is to return tomorrow as he lands today. But the rest is absolutely fine, apart from the long-term injuries.
Off the back of 3 defeats in a row, did the international break perhaps come at a right time for you and the players?
You never know. Never know. Depends on your result in the weekend, I guess, because you can't really say if it's good or bad. I think we on all of those 3 defeats, all of them very, very different. We assume that probably the worst one was Fulham in terms of performance, but it came, I think, as a consequence of the extra time being played in Milan. The Liverpool one was an excellent performance, and Inter Milan, we had a couple of chances that we left it very, very late to save the leg. So all of them have different characteristics, but we still are with optimism regarding what we have done.
What's the feeling now amongst the players? Is there a knock in the belief, the confidence?
No, not at all.
You haven't had to pick them up at all since you've
No.
Next 4 games, tough ones. I know all of them are tough, but could they potentially make or break your season, do you think?
No, I think now is 8 games to the season finish. I think most of the teams will, have to put their act together. Us is exactly the same like the other ones. We've done excellent enough to manage to bridge a gap before. Now with the 2 league defeats, we have our opponents a bit closer to us. We have to recognize that the conditions have changed, but towards the future we have these 8 games, and as it shifted so quickly for us, it shifts very, very quickly for any team in the Premier League when you don't get the results. So we have to put our act together for the rest of the fixtures to reach our objective.
You say the conditions have changed. Do you think what you might require has changed? What points tally do you think it will take to get that?
I think normally it's within the 70-72 margin. Normally 70 is enough for you to be within those 4 spots. There's 24 points being played. For us to make 70 is 16 more points. So I think it's enough, but you never know what dictates. It's very, very unpredictable. At this time, I think we are within our objectives.
In previous seasons, Spurs have promised to get into the top 4 and not quite made it. Last season was admittedly unlucky with what happened with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Are the players, or any of the players, do you detect any of them show any psychological scars, and is it something you have to address?
Don't think so. Obviously, it can happen. I think we have to reflect on it, just like on the late goals we suffered this season. The more you work on it, doesn't mean that you're going to be out of it, because that is the nature of the game. This is something that has happened before, but that doesn't mean that it has to happen again this year. Circumstances are different, the training is different, the leader is different, the players are different. At this moment, has nothing to do with past experience.
With regard to the fans, I mean, I haven't spoken to everyone, but some of the fans are starting to feel nervous already again because of the gap that's being so close to Arsenal again. What would your message be to them, especially when you have home games? Because against Fulham, it was perhaps a little bit flatter than what it has been in the past.
Yeah. Against Fulham wasn't a good performance, but that's the reality. I think us, Newcastle and Chelsea, are involved in a top European competition. I think we saw some results in Europe that weekend. Not only for Europa League teams, but for Champions League teams that made it to the quarterfinals that were negative. So it didn't only happen to us, it happened for Malaga, for example. happened to Newcastle. I think the top teams at this time involved in European competitions have the extra motivation from the fact that they are still there competing. And what my message to the fans is that we are perfectly within our objectives. The margin is a little bit less than what was before. But if we had that margin, it was because we were excellent doing our job. So that doesn't mean that we can't be excellent again doing our job. And that's why we believe a lot in the players and what they are doing. And we still involved in the quarterfinals of a European competition. So this is at the moment all positive aspects for us.
When you reach this business end of the season, how big is the mental side of the players as opposed to just physically and talent-wise?
Yeah, I think very, very important. I think at this time you are fooled by motivation regarding achieving your objectives, and I think fortunately for us, we have two competitions that we are playing strongly on, and the motivation of achieving our objectives in the league or being in that UEFA Cup final are extremely rewarding. So I think the players certainly feel inspired by it, and I think can only be a positive thing.
Where would getting Tottenham into the top four rank in your managerial career so far?
Yeah, we often go back to those questions about me. It's not about me. It's an obligation that we have towards the objectives of the club. Moving forward, we'll always be reaching Champions League qualification. That we are trying very, very hard to do this year. The right steps have been taken within the club, as you see, by the facilities and the conditions and the players that we have available. Moving forward is to reach those objectives and hopefully try to get trophies into our cabinet.
Final one for me, Andre. It's Swansea next. Is it perhaps a good time to play them?
I don't know. I think Swansea are in a very, very comfortable position in the league. Plus, they have achieved so much by winning the Capital One Cup, and I think it's all credit to the work that Michael did over there. So I think although they come from a defeat against Arsenal, they are extremely good at home. They play excellent football. And it can be an entertaining game and competitive game. I think just like the game that we played against them at home.
Okay, Steve.
Andre, when Gareth picked up a bit of an injury on Tuesday, was that a bit of a heart-stopping moment for you because he's such a big player for you, isn't he?
Yeah, obviously. I think for us club coaches, we are happier when they return and they return with no injuries. And I think we've been lucky because normally there is always, because of the change of habits, the change of training, the traveling, there's always minor issues that can happen, and most of the boys are here, most of the boys are fine.
He's absolutely fine now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. You've picked up an award this week in Portugal, is that right?
Yeah.
You'd like to tell us about that?
A bit exaggerated award. But he was a breakthrough coach of the century.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah,
have you heard that one?
Me neither. But as a recognition from the local association as in Porto, which has 100 years history, and mainly important for me to see people that I have relationships with in the past on my career as a coach.
And just one final question on Swansea. Do you think they're the surprise team of this year, aren't they? Given what they've done, because a lot of people thought they'd go straight back down.
Yeah, I think so. No, I'm not sure if. I don't think there was that negativity towards Swansea going down because of what they'd done in the market. Credit to Michael again, because the players that he brought in fitted perfectly and have had tremendous impact, from Key to Guzman to Mitro. Still also developing the young players like Ben Davies and continuing on that fantastic football that was initially set out by Martinez and Paulo and Brendan, which sets a very very different team from the rest of the league. So good to see that the work is there.
Regs.
Andre, how important is it to get back to winning ways on Saturday?
I think that always important. You always want to have one more game for you to be able to jump back. We have this possibility once again against Swansea, independent of the results that we've had recently. Every single game you set out to try to win it. So we have to set out the same way. Had we won against Fulham, we had to win this one the same. We'll probably be in a more comfortable position in the league, as it would have meant that we would still be third. But we just have to continue our job independent. So our task is to win the same.
3 London sides vying for those crucial Champions League places.
Yeah.
Will your season be defined by getting that spot?
It's not up to me to define my season. No, our objectives ultimate are Champions League qualification. If we don't achieve it, we have to consider what has been made this season as steps forward, which I think are positive, not only in terms of the club and the surroundings, but in terms of the team going forward, bearing in mind the key players that the team lost from last season to this one. So I think it's not up to me to judge. It's not obviously a requirement for this season, but it's something that I think it's an obligation towards going to the future. I think if you want to move forward, you move forward by qualifying for the Champions League.
You play Chelsea next month. I mean, how important will that game be in the fight for 4th place?
Chelsea and Man City, I think, because they are playing for the same objectives as us, and might give you an opportunity to bridge a gap, or I don't know, to go over them. Depends on what happens on their game in hand. But both games will be extremely important by the fact that they are competing for the same objectives.
Lots of speculation that Mourinho's coming back to Chelsea, to England.
Yeah.
Do you welcome him back?
Yeah, he's a top coach in the world. I think this league continues to attract the best players in the world. If it's able to attract Jose, and Jose makes it very, very clear that he wants to come back to England one day, it would be, I think, excellent for everybody.